Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a really exciting opportunity to conduct an interview with my really great friend, Speedrobo. Without further ado, I'd like to let him introduce himself.
Hey there, card folks. Speedrobo here. There's a few different things you may know me from. You might be familiar with my work over at Speedrobo Games. We are a indie card game developer, publisher, manufacturer, and support studio. You may be familiar with some of my work here on YouTube. Over on the Dr. Speedrobo channel, I'm known for bullying VTuber TCGs into becoming better products. Or lastly, you may be familiar with the game store that I own with my business partner Steve, called Spaceboat Games. You may have seen some of my products featured in TCG Card Shop Simulator, or perhaps you've seen me at one of the conventions I regularly attend, which, if I'm not mistaken, is our discussion for today. Is that right, Will?
Yes, sir. Today I would love to ask you some questions about your experience at Origins Game Fair.
Yeah. It was a really interesting convention. What I love about Origins is how much I get to learn every year. It's a great show to go to sort of reset my fingers on the pulse of the industry.
I love it. That's exactly the theme we're going for with the questions I've lined up for you today.
Great. Happy to answer.
So we're going to jump right into it with some personal and company experience questions. Firstly, how was your overall experience at Origins this year, both personally and as Speedrobo Games?
So personally, absolutely fantastic as always. This was probably my favorite year I've ever attended. I got to reunite with some old friends. Big shout outs to Bill, Grant, and Alpha Clash. You guys all know what's going on there. And I got to meet a bunch of new friends. So many new friends, I can't go over all of them. But one I definitely want to highlight is the Caster Guild. They were one of the first people to stop by our booths, and we got to do an interview on their podcast, and they were just absolutely lovely people. And, another big shout out to Fawn, very talented artist that we got to connect with at the show. Just everybody was great, as always. And then from a company standpoint, overall it was quite good. Some things did better than we expected, and some things did worse. The main two products, I should say, that outperformed our expectations were Crash Cribbage and Siege the King. Siege the King is actually one of our client games made by Dawnfather Games. Go check out their Kickstarter right now if you want to get your hands on some exclusive collector's edition items for that game. And I would say the main thing that underperformed was actually our other Kickstarters there this year, and that was really interesting because last year was a great year for Kickstarters. I mean, we had 2 Kickstarters last year, just like this year, and both of those Kickstarters did absolutely fantastic. And while we had like higher expectations for certainly Junk World, it didn't quite meet like the same heights that Necromancers and Illyria did at Origins last year, which was just something that I thought was interesting. It didn't do poorly by any means. Yeah, that was that's what I would say on the company standpoint.
That's awesome.
Overall, still good, but just some things. And this is what I mean when I say Origins is a great way to sort of like reset my pulse, fingers on the pulse of the industry, is because, last year's battle plans don't necessarily work for the next year, and this was a great example of that.
Right. Leading into the next question that actually goes perfectly into it, I was going to ask, what were your main goals going into the convention this year, and if you feel like you've achieved it, but I feel like you answered that fully well enough already.
Oh, yeah. I mean, overall, we absolutely achieved our goals, right? So, I mean, the main goal of going to the convention is just to be there, meet the people. I mean, when it comes to Origins Game Fair, right, like, it is the best convention to go to if you are a mid-scale to small-scale company like Speedrobo Games. Gen Con, generally not worth it. You're just going to get drowned out. There's, as I like to describe Gen Con, there's so much stuff there that stack overflows to being an empty warehouse.
Right.
So, yeah, so when it comes to Origins, like, it is, without a doubt, the best convention, tabletop games convention in the country to go to. And generally speaking, like, our goal isn't even to do a bunch of sales or be profitable or anything like that, which we were this year. But it's to just see what's going on, right? That was the main goal, and we absolutely achieved it. There were so many things that Jacob, my business partner, and I talked about afterwards, and we're still going over it and still compiling all of our thoughts from the show. So yeah, that was our main goal, just get more information, and we successfully did that.
That's awesome. That's I gotta say, that's one of the things I admire so much about the Speedrobo Games company, is how much it seems to be you guys are in touch with everyone else in the indie scene and not just like in your own silent kind of echo chamber bubble.
That's what we try to do. I mean, we talk to a bunch of really interesting people that don't do exactly what we do, right? And we specifically sought those people out. Like a good example is my company doesn't make, hardcore traditional TCGs, but we were next to Alpha Clash, and we've been friendly with Alpha Clash for years, but definitely after this show, I can say that we've become, fast friends. And it was great just to talk to them and talk about, like, hey, what's your experience running, like, a TCG? Because we do, expandable card games, living card games, that sort of thing. Like, what's been your experience? What's the difference? And that was a blast. Another TCG that we talked to a lot at the show was Round Table. And, we've been good buds with Bill again through the internet for a while. So it was great to, meet him in person and talk to him in person, talk to his experience as well. And then another booth that we had a great time was with Weird Games. They're more like very traditional board game type studio. I'm getting to talk with the folks at Weird Games and learning about their experiences in the more like very traditional side of the tabletop game space was also very fantastic. Because like you said, we really don't want to be stuck in our, ECG bubble. We're always trying to branch out, learn new things, see what's going on, and work with different people. Like, staying still is not what we want to do.
I was about to say
to sort of go on a side. Yeah, exactly. To sort of go on a short side tangent, I was actually talking with the director of our board today, and we were just talking about it. And she was like, "Yeah, there's another Munchkin expansion coming out," and she read in, what was it? It wasn't Around the Table. It was Game Trade Magazine. She read a whole article about how this one guy's been illustrating for Munchkin for like 30 years.
Really?
And I just looked at her and I said point blank, like, I think I'd lose my mind if I was Steve Jackson Games and the only thing I ever could make
was Munchkins.
Munchkin
that
forever.
Is very fair. As much as a great game that is, putting that perspective and
Munchkins,
lens on it, definitely.
Right. Like Munchkin's a wonderful game. I love Munchkin, but it's like I don't want to be just, I don't know, for example, just like if we were just the System Gate studio and all we ever did was System Gate and the only thing we could do was System Gate, and anytime we tried something new, it just nobody wanted it because it wasn't System Gate. I don't think I could live with that.
Right.
I really
right.
don't. I don't think I could do it. Yeah, sorry, total side track.
No, you're perfectly fine. I love this type of stuff. You know that. I love talking to you. You're one of my best friends, and I love having these talks.
It's a great time. Yeah.
Moving into the next question, though, how did Origins this year compare to previous years and other conventions that you regularly attend?
Yeah. So this was something interesting that I noticed. And I even checked this with Bill and Jordy from Alpha Clash. Bill from Round Table. Bill, Nimue Studios, they make Round Table. And then I also checked with Jordy from Alpha Clash, but because I wanted to make sure I wasn't, gaslighting myself or something. But this year's Origins was way, way slower than the past 2 years. Like, dramatically less people showed up, especially on Friday. Origins this year had about like the turnout rate that I'd expect from something like Daikon. I love Daikon, absolutely phenomenal, but it's more on like the smaller mid-scale convention size.
Gotcha.
And so I'm looking at things. The fact that there was such a smaller turnout on Friday, and to an extent Thursday, but then Saturday was like normal. Saturday was what I expected everything to be like. It showed that people weren't willing to spend the money on a 4-day pass. They were only buying a 1-day pass,
right?
Maybe a 2-day, just to be, that guy. But that's a recession indicator. Something's up there.
And people were
I
unfortunately
overall
think I can agree.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I noticed with Kickstarters, right? Like, to be sort of on the same topic. I mean, the turnout and the lack of people biting on the Kickstarters, it means a lot of things. It indicates a lot of things. But the fact that people weren't willing to risk their money on a maybe anymore, that's a recession indicator. And it's something that the rest of the peers in my industry really need to be aware of and prepared for and cognizant of.
Being
the
prepared how to get your game and your company through a recession.
Right, exactly. And I have a lot more thoughts on that, but I kind of want to go through your questions before sort of giving
No, that's perfectly fine. I would love to revisit that at the end, actually, because I had some questions I originally wrote up that kind of go with that I originally that I then kind of put away because it didn't do too much with the convention. So that would be perfect.
Yeah, I want to just kind of share like what I learned from this convention at the end. If that's
yes, that'd be perfect. Moving into the next question. This is kind of a 2-for-1. Were you satisfied with your booth setup, or do you think there's anything better you could do for next year? On top of, were there any logistical behind-the-scene moments that really stood out, whether they were good or bad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So overall, very satisfied with the booth layout. I think this is the best booth we've ever had. We got a 10 by 30 inline. So
nice.
For some context, the first year, so this is our third year at Origins. And we're going back for a fourth year. I've already bought the booth.
Awesome.
But, oh man. So first year we got a 10 by 20 inline. And that was pretty good. The inlines I really like because that means that you're entirely facing a hallway and your whole booth is just facing the hallway. So you don't have to like turn. You can see everybody that walks by. It makes it a lot easier to engage with people there. Like if you don't have the size, staff, and personnel to buy a 20 by 20 island, you absolutely want to grab yourself a either 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20 or a 10 by 30 inline booth if you're going to go to Origins. Could not recommend it enough. So I really like the 10 by 20. But by the second year we were going, we definitely outgrown 10 by 20. I mean, we have grown massively every single year since we first started going, because year one, we were there with exclusively Legacies Allure. Like, that was it. That was the only product we took, was just Legacies Allure.
Oh, wow. Comparing that to this year, that is a huge product, like, SKU change and lineup change.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Every year, you can expect our lineup to be incredibly different. Like, you'll see some returning faces. Like, Legacies Allure was still at our booth. We were actually giving away free Legacies Allure products and decks and demos and samples. With every demo done at our booth. Like that's one thing that we do every year. If you come by our booth and you do a demo and you talk to us, you're going to walk away with a bunch of free shit. That's guaranteed.
And that's awesome. You love hearing that, because unfortunately I feel like we're in a day and age, especially, which I get with indie companies, but I feel like indies are even less willing to give players product without flat out purchasing something.
Right. A lot of indie companies are very stingy. But to that effect, what I can say is I want to give since we're talking about that, I want to give a shout out to some companies that I know of that were there that very much aren't. Number one, this is a large company, but I definitely want to give a big thank you to them, and that's WizKids. WizKids was there running a huge HeroClix tournament, and they had an exclusive map available just at Origins. And you're supposed to play in the event to get the map, but I walked up and I said, hey, I'm Ride-On, I own a game store, we stock your products, we love your products, and my business partner Steve, he couldn't be at the show with us today, but he really wants that HeroClix map. May I have one? And just without batting an eye, without skipping a step, they're just like, oh yeah, absolutely, here. And they just gave me the map. So like, you love to see that. That's fantastic. Alpha Clash, they were giving away free stuff the whole time. Hey, you want a demo deck? Here's a demo deck. The whole thing. Those guys are extremely generous. And same with our friends over at Nimue Studios. Bill from Roundtable, same thing. Had free giveaways the whole time. So like, there are very generous companies out there, and I do feel the need to acknowledge them. I am so sorry. What was your question? I completely got it.
No,
Booth.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So then second year we were there, we actually got a 20 by 20 end cap. And that booth was very problematic for us. It was more space than we frankly needed. I just overestimated. So that was number one. Number two is that I didn't see this coming, but so when you're a 20 by 20 end cap, you've only got one wall essentially to your back. And then you've got players on your left, right, and front just walking around, milling around, people milling around. And you're kind of in like the big main thoroughfares where people like are taking turns, they've got a destination, they're walking, they're not really there to pay attention to your booth. So it's hard to engage with people as much. They aren't really in the mindset at that time to engage with you. So end caps, I don't care for. Even if you've got the size and space to like handle an end cap, at that point you'd be better just getting a 20 by 20 island where you have no wall and it's all four sides. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Open floor, be facing everyone.
Right. Exactly. So with that in mind, 10 by 30, absolute perfect booth size. Loved our whole layout. We had a gauntlet that players could run of demo tables. We had like 6 games ready to demo there. And every time, and if you ran the whole gauntlet, this was actually a secret prize, we didn't advertise this. If you ran the entire gauntlet of all of our game demos, you would get your picture taken, and you would get any of our products at our booth completely free. So you played everything, here's a free thing. And that was great, everybody loved it, it was super fun. We loved running that promotion. But what can we do better next year? Honestly, have even more banners. I underestimated our bannerage. That was on me. I did not properly prepare quite enough banners. I wish I had a banner for Junk World and Destiny side. That's like it. I wish I had a banner for those two. Other than that, things went great. Life hack for other small booths out there. If you want shelves at the back of your booth space to like put up product, display product, have it ready to sell, you don't need to actually buy shelves. All you need to do is bring extra tablecloths, and then all the boxes that you brought all your shit in, just stack them up, put a tablecloth over it, and now you have a shelf.
That's smart. That is very smart.
Yeah, so that's what we did. And I mean, I wouldn't change that at all, but like logistics wise, I would say we've got it down to a science at this point, and that is all thanks to Louise. She goes by Tournament Mom in the Discord, so, you know, if you're around the Speedrobo Games Discord,
gotta love
give her an
Mom.
@ and say, she's fantastic. Give her an @ and say, thank you, Tournament Mom, for Origins Game Fair going as smooth as it did, because that was all her. She has got it down to a freaking science, a formula. There's no issues at all there. The one logistics thing that I would say is I need to duct tape that 4th wheel to my cart that's missing a wheel. Okay, so I buy these wagons, right? And I went to Dunham Sports in Matt Tim.
Okay.
And I bought a wagon from them. Now, the thing is, they didn't know. I didn't know. There was no way for us to know. The wagon was fucked. So 2 years ago, I take this damn thing to Gen Con, and I'm riding with my main man, Default, also from the Discord. He's the head developer for System Gate, recently got promoted. So anyway, we're riding there. We get there. We're in the thing. We bring out the first wagon that we had. Okay, sick. We bring out the second wagon that we had. Snap the first wheel in, second wheel in, third wheel in, no problem. Last wheel doesn't fit.
Oh no.
So that wagon has been a 3-wheeler.
Oh, just living its
years.
best life.
It is doing its best. It works, but I need to duct tape that 4th wheel on, man. Like, that's it. Like, it's time. It's time.
Hey, if that's your
So
worst
there you go.
logistical
Yeah, I mean, that's
nightmare
going
at
on
a
with
convention, you got it figured out.
Yes. Absolutely.
I feel like that's a great segue, into my next few little questions I have. I have about, I want to say, 5 more questions lined up for you, because you have answered some of my other questions that we've gone through and just talked.
Excellent.